Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Dr. Leadership Podcast. Hope you're having an awesome day. Another recording Saturday going on here, getting ready for the big football day ahead of us. Dreary day, fall is upon us, but the showers are doing good for the grass, I guess, getting ready for winter. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Hey, we're stepping into another episode here, and I'm taking a little different direction here because of a little personal things going on in my life that made it important to me and can tie a couple things together. But we're going to talk about long-term brain health and how to use intelligence development to prolong a fruitful life. That's what I'm kind of calling this thing. I'm going to figure out the title that'll fit on all the websites. But it's important to understand that, and we've talked about intelligence before, but it's also important to understand how to prolong intelligence and how to prolong your brain health. So we'll jump into it here in just a second. We kind of finished up going down a couple roads over the last few weeks and kind of changing direction. Going to talk about health a little bit for the next couple weeks to tie it in. Some big news coming. Got some great interviews signed up for the next few weeks. It is going to be a great time to be a member of the membership site at www.drleadershipresults.com. Go out to the website, click on the membership site, subscription site, join. Takes 2 minutes to join. You get early access at early access at podcasts via the website, via your Patreon link that you get signed up for. Very easy. It's $5 a month, super small investment. Hey, had a few more people join this week. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very, very much. And it's a great investment in yourself. But then you also get access at the Leadership Lounge. And a little bit later today, I'm interviewing a gentleman by the name of DJ Blythe, David John Blythe. Played for Tennessee Tech in the late 90s, early 2000s. Hall of Famer for his college, all-century team for his college, Hall of Famer for his local community growing up from his high school days, brief stint in the NFL, ended up winning a world championship in the Arena League. We're going to talk about sports and competitiveness and what it takes to be excellent inside of that world. He's got some great stories. I've known DJ a long time, very fortunate to interact with him on nearly a daily endeavor. Great man. He's a good guy to have around you when you're out and about. You know, it's like built-in security. 6'3", 260 pounds, still shredded today. Looks like a model. I'm a downer next to DJ. But he's coming on the show. I've got Toby Stansel, who is the CEO of the Cargo Agency. Toby's got a great book out there that we're going to talk about. He's in the ad world. He's been around and been a public speaker for decades. Very, very interesting gentleman. He's coming on in a couple weeks. And I've got another gentleman by the name of Brian Smith coming on, who is the owner of iWatch Security and also hosts a podcast himself called The 5 Things. And we're going to join each other's shows. He's coming on mine. We'll be loading that up into the membership site. Personal business owner, entrepreneurial, runs a great business, lives down in North Carolina. Referred to by a friend. We've developed a quick relationship and friendship. Very, very smart individual. Going to talk about building your own business. Going to talk about his personal podcasts, his life adventures. Military man, came out of school, joined the military. Funny story there that we're going to tie in. So we got Toby, we got Brian, and we got DJ coming up. You can get access to those through the membership site. Again, go out to www.drleadershipresults.com, click on subscription, takes you out to the Patreon site. You sign up, $5 a month. Cancel if you don't like it. Get access, man. Be a trendsetter, not a follower. You're going to know the attributes of the upcoming episodes before anybody else. You can also reach out to us via our email address, which is drleadershipresults@gmail.com. give us some insight, give us some ideas on content. This actually came from an email, a family member email exchange, not pertaining necessarily to the DR Leadership, the Dr. Leadership Show, but just talking about some things in our lives. I've had a personal situation hit someone very close to me in my family with some brain challenges later on in life, and I'm going to talk about that. But I want to talk about, first of all, well, let me reset here. First of all, I don't pretend to be a real doctor, right? The DR in the Dr. Leadership Podcast actually stands for Driving Results. And this thing really started out in its impetus as being about a leader in the business sense, in the business world, in your personal life, being a good father, tying things together, being a good leader in the community. And one of the things I want to share is good mental health, good mental strategies, and how to long-term be around for your friends and family and loved ones. Be successful, but be successful for a long time. And success is measured in a lot of different ways. It doesn't mean money. It doesn't mean titles. It just means happiness. It means good mental health. It means having a good relationship with your family members and friends, etc. So I don't pretend to be a real doctor in this life, but an important aspect of any long-term well-being, of any of our own, long-term well-being, is good brain health. And I want to talk about that a bit today. First of all, I want to talk about a couple different types of intelligence, first of all. And the reason is I want to crawl, walk, run here. I want to talk about the different types of intelligence so you understand kind of the basics of how the brain works. And then I'm going to take that down the road of how do we maintain it and grow it and ascertain greatness through our intelligence factors that lead to an easier road to success. If you're a smart person, you're going to have a better likelihood of being successful than if you ain't paying attention, if you ain't no smart person. Okay? Grammar matters, commas matter, spelling matters. Intellectually being able to carry a conversation matters. So all these things kind of tie together to what the doctor's trying to do. So the two types of intelligence and their use and development are key to success in all aspects of our life. The first one we kind of think of is known as crystallized intelligence. And this goes back to the psychology of the brain. I talk about being a psychologist by association all these years. So I read a lot on psychology. And psychology came up with these two different intelligence types. So the first is called crystallized intelligence. It's the one we typically think about, right? What you learned in school, geography, where the states are, where the rivers are, how to tie your shoes, basic spelling, the things that through experience in life you have learned how to change a tire, how to see somebody show you how to change a tire. That's crystallized intelligence. It's the ability to use your learned knowledge and experiences. So that's really associated with kind of long-term memory. I'm going to come back to that. Then there's a second type of intelligence, and this is the one that's really key. Concentrating and developing this type of intelligence is key to driving higher propensity of success, a higher level of success than others that don't concentrate on that. This type of intelligence is known as fluid intelligence. Not like liquid, but the ability to flow and to move around is kind of the tie-in here. And this one becomes more important in life, as I said, to help you succeed. This is most easily described. If you want to know or tell somebody what fluid intelligence is, it's problem solving. Sometimes referred to as fluid reasoning. It's how do you figure stuff out that you haven't been taught before, utilizes your fluid intelligence. How does this tie into brain health? Okay, that's where I'm taking this thing, right? The reason it ties in is we need to understand how things derive or decline, either or, but mostly decline, with age. Okay? People think their intelligence declines with age. However, the research really shows that fluid intelligence starts to decrease like the age of 30, 40, Some even say at adolescence. And really it's because we quit caring, we're set in our ways, and we don't want to learn new stuff. But remember, fluid intelligence is reasoning and figuring stuff out. Crystallized intelligence continues to increase throughout your life because you're learning new things, right? You have new experiences. You were shown how to do something. You saw someone else do something that you retain in your memory banks. We continue to learn new things over time, but our problem solving is strongest while younger. So you have to maximize that younger time in your problem solving. You have to push yourself to continue to embrace fluid intelligence to allow you to continue to develop and develop and develop, because better problem solvers are better leaders in all aspects of life. At home, with your kids, you're going to face problems in a family. You better be able to use reasoning to figure things out. Fluid intelligence is what you use, solving a puzzle or a problem. You use all your crystallized learning to help here. So think of fluid as the ability to make connections. This was a Steve Jobs comment in my research. Fluid intelligence is the ability to make connections between things you've learned, taking a component of something in math you learned, using a component in something in physical learning that you've done, you saw something done, putting the two, connecting the two together to solve a new problem that requires both skills that's set in front of you right now. So making connections, that's an easy way to do it. I need to be fluid. I need to be able to pull a little piece of this of my memory and my experiences. I need to be able to pull a little piece of this from my memory and experiences, connect them to solve the problem that's sitting right in front of me right now. Now, this is where I think it's important. As a leader or a person who engages in a lot of different situations, fluid intelligence are going to be key. I already talked about being a parent. That's going to be, have its challenges. Working with neighbors, having a home, having to figure things out. Simple things like righty-tighty, lefty-loosey that you learned on how to tighten bolts, unscrew things. But then what tool do I need to use to do that? What tool might I need once I lefty-loosey something and get in and start working on whatever that problem is, be it plumbing, simple electrical work? You ought to be able to figure this stuff out. Doesn't take long to realize you start by turning off the breaker, stick the scissors in the outlet once, bzzz. Okay, got to remember first steps, turn that breaker off. Now that's a little bit of learned intelligence. That's a little bit of crystallized. And then forevermore, it'll be part of your fluid approaches. But as a leader, a person that's involved in a lot of different stuff, you want to be able to take and make those connections like the fluid intelligence works. It's also, I said earlier, it kind of peaks. Some say adolescence. I'm talking about fluid intelligence here. Some say up to the age of 40. What fluid intelligence really also means is openness to learn new things. And that's where it decreases with age. I think it's because we get stuck in our way. I was at training this week with a bunch of people that I'm on teams with. And the age in the room was not young. I don't want to say old, but we're all, I'm going to be 56, and I was not middle of the pack. Maybe I was. But there was a lot of people in there that you could see turning off a little bit because we're learning about a new product that's completely new to that group. And I was sitting here thinking, this also tied it together. Man, they got to open their minds up a little bit. They got some time left here in this business. They better open up and soak some of this stuff in. So as you get older, you get more set in your ways. Maybe you could refer to it as being stubborn. I don't want to learn that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to experience that. I know I'm not going to like it. Those are things that just absolutely neuter your ability to continue to grow. I think I'm pretty open-minded on trying new things. Now, maybe other people wouldn't see that all the time. There's certain things I say I'm not going to do. I reserve that right. But I think in learning things, I'm pretty open-minded. Crystallized intelligence, it sticks around in comparison to fluid. Fluid taps out at, let's say, 40. Crystallized sticks around until like 60 or 70. And here's where I'm going to start tying in the brain health. Because crystallized intelligence, forgetfulness, not remembering how to do things, not remembering names, not remembering things that you have experienced in the past, is a direct impact on not concentrating on your brain health. I'm going to be 56, I said. Alzheimer's is in my family. Now, they think there's a genetic connection. They think it might be something to do with your dental hygiene. Gingivitis is tied into problems with Alzheimer's. Dementia. Gut health is tied into Alzheimer's. It's in my family. I have had a recent development in my family. I'm not going to say who, but has been diagnosed at not a whole lot older than me. In a blink of an eye, and how fast this planet spins around the sun every year. It's another fall. I can't believe it. I just was spring. We were all dancing around the neighborhood. So glad to have shorts on again. Me and the buddies in the neighborhood, the breakfast club. And man, now it's fall, back to sweatpants. Good things because we get college football. But time goes fast is what my point is. So all this suddenly stuck with me let me step back. As soon as I heard this news, I'm very sad. Now, I had seen that something was going on for a couple years. You can see the change happen. My father was taken by Alzheimer's at 84. Now, 84 sounds like a very good and long life, unless you're 83. Then it's like, wow, unless you're 82. 24 months? It's not a long time. In today's world, my mother's 94. Sharp as a tack upstairs, body still kicking pretty good. Got to go out to dinner with her last week, came out to watch the football game, had a great time, got a win, go Hawks. Went out to a nice dinner, my wife and I and her. Great times. Conversation's awesome. So what's the difference between her and my father that is a controllable? And I'm going to talk about some of those things. The reason my dad's Alzheimer's came about, now we didn't know what was going to happen with his father. He lost his father at the age of 60. I didn't even get to meet my grandfather on my dad's side. So we don't know what the progression was going to be there. His mother lived to, I think, 88, if I'm remembering right. 1903, yes, 88. Had just turned 88, maybe 89. Died in February of 92, if I'm remembering correctly. And she was pretty sharp. She had some health issues that took her that was not so much memory related, still pretty sharp. But what happened with my dad is he retired at the age of 62 and didn't do a whole lot with his brain after that. Sat down and watched the Cubs every day and the Bears every weekend. He bowled, he played golf, and then suddenly all those people had passed away, 75 years old, 72 years old. The people that he was playing golf with retired a little later than him. They were all 4, 5, 6 years older, couldn't really play any longer. But he didn't do a lot with his brain. He used his brain so much from the age of 10 to 62, working young, going through the Depression, had to be smart, left for the war, hero in my mind, came back, ran a business with his brothers, actively involved in technology of the day, refrigeration business, handled all of the service side of that business, all of the unions, interacted with lots of people, socially active, pushing a broom to lead by example, driving trucks, moving things around, very active. Came home, retired, sat down. Didn't read books, didn't do a lot of other things. And I think that that's key, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. We all need to work on our brains, is what my point is here. And I'm going to go into a couple of things to concentrate on that all the studies agree about. First of all, maximize your intelligence for the benefit of your young life, your business life, your parental life, your interaction skills. The more you know, the more fun you have, the more success you'll have. So brain health is made up of several topics that we're going to touch on that'll benefit you in the long run too. So the two things that it really is dependent on is physical health and memory and brain health are they're a two-part problem. To ensure you keep your brain working in optimum performance for as long as possible, You have to attack both of these things. Your physical health directly ties into your brain health. And then memory is directly impacted on what you're doing with your brain. Neuroscientists say there's a simple 9-minute thing you can do, a 9-minute routine that you only have to do twice a week, especially if you want to improve memory and information processing, that'll help you live a longer, stronger life. It's a small physical engagement to help ensure your brain lasts a long time and fires on all 8 cylinders. Maybe it's a 12-cylinder. They say this: intelligence is directly associated with success. That's what the neuroscientists say. The studies show that if you have good, solid intelligence that you've retained and you've trained, I've said it already twice in the show, your success is going to be better. So do it now to help you now. But what you're doing is you're driving for long-term success of your brain power staying around as long as possible, which I want to be here for my wife. She's younger. I want to be here for my kids. I want to see grandkids. I want to hopefully see great-grandkids. My mom's very fortunate. Great-grandkids. The way she's going, she may see great-great-grandkids. But the neuroscientists say 9 minutes of strength training twice per week, listen to this, gives a 30% lowering of risk of cognitive impairment. And that is a study out of New Lifestyle Medicine periodical. It's called Lifestyle Medicine. And it's their study. That same study shows resistance exercise increases your frontal lobe connectivity, and that's where a lot of the dementia and Alzheimer's starts, is in the frontal lobe, and executive function while reducing white matter atrophy and improving your memory. Atrophy basically just means wearing down. Forget, losing it. You hear about people that have been bedridden in comas. When they get up, they have no strength because the atrophy involving all their muscles has impacted them. They got to rebuild their strength. They can't even sit up. They can't stand because all those muscles break down. Your brain is like a muscle. It needs to be used for this to be long-term effective. So this 9-minute thing twice a week is really 3 2-minute activities with 90 minutes of break in between. You don't have to go out. So I quit drinking a year and a month ago. I did that because alcohol is really, really bad for your brain. Also, I did that because I can't drink 1, I drank 5, 7. So it just wasn't good for me for a lot of ways. But one thing that is undeniable is alcohol has a very detrimental effect on your brain. Other health things come along with it. Those that just have social drinks, great. There's lots of studies that say that's good for your heart. So you got to have balance, right? Everything in moderation. I don't moderately go after anything. I'm a very, addictive personality. I'm 100% in on my yard. I'm 100% in on my housework. I'm 100% in on my marriage. I'm 100% in on work. I'm 100% in on everything. And I was 100% in on having a good time with alcohol involved. I needed to stop. But the other thing I did besides stopping drinking is I started concentrating on some physical health too. I'm walking 3, 4, 5 miles 6 days a week. And that's to work on my physical health because that's really big for brain development too. So back to the neuroscientist study out of Lifestyle Medicine magazine. And they say do 3 things. Air squats, basically standing at your counter doing squats, push-ups, and any type of core exercise. So they say, here's what you do. First time you step up, you stand in the middle of the room, you set a timer. For 2 minutes, you do as many squats as you can. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you go hard for 2 minutes on squats, you're not going to be able to do anything with those legs for the next 5 or 6 days. You are going to be so sore, it's incredible. So they say take breaks when you get tired during the 2 minutes. But do as many as you can and write the number down. And they have you write the number down so you can see progress. That's the key to developing these habits is you need to see progress, right? You want to see results. So they say do 2 minutes worth of squats, proceed with caution. The next thing is 90 seconds of rest. Then they say hop down on the floor and do 2 minutes worth of push-ups, as many as you can. Now, your body will give out on you a lot sooner on push-ups than on squats because your legs are just stronger. You use your legs to walk everything else. You don't use your arms to do push-ups and triceps and biceps and chest muscles as often. They say do it from your knees if you need to, so you can kind of break into it. But do as many as you can in 2 minutes. You aren't going to do a lot. Maybe 20. Maybe it's 40. I can get up to about 60 push-ups now. Because I do push-ups as well. And then 90 seconds worth of rest, and then work on core. And you can do planks, but they say if you're following the push-ups and you're doing planks are really good because it works on your balance too. I love planks. It can be hard on your shoulders a little bit, so make sure you stretch afterwards. But planks or bicycle, leg lifts, do some Pilates type work. The hard 100 is a good one. Work on your core. Those 3 muscle groups twice a week for 9 minutes. Everybody's got 9 minutes. That physical health, believe it or not, shows huge impacts on the likelihood of Alzheimer's or dementia impacting you at an earlier age. It holds it off as long as possible. If you're susceptible to it, it's probably going to come around. Let's face it, everybody at 95 is forgetful. I'm forgetful at 55. Some of that's natural. I always say, I've got too much in the hard drive. There's just no more space, and searching through to defragment the disk takes a little bit of time to pull some things up. Great trick, though, on memory. If you forget names, my dad taught me this. My mom uses it. I use it. My siblings use it. It works. If you can't remember somebody's name, go through the alphabet. A, B, C. Suddenly, their name's Lolita. You'll get to the L's and you'll go, Lolita. It's amazing how it works. Good little memory trick. But 9 minutes twice a week for your physical health, huge impacts. That physical fitness is key, as is continuing to use your brain, especially learning new things. So when I'll come to that in a second. Mayo Clinic has a great article out there, 6 things to keep your brain healthy. First of all, it helps as you go through life, your business life, your personal life. Don't wait until you're 56 to start this stuff. If you're 25 listening, start. If you're 35, start. If you're 45, guess what? Start. But the Mayo Clinic says there's 6 things. First one, exercise regularly. We just touched on it. So you got lifestyle medicine, and you got Mayo, and I looked online, and I looked at 20 different studies. Every single one has these 6 same things. Some take it to 12 because they break some of these down into subcategories and count them as additional sections. But if you concentrate on these 6 things, 9 out of 10 dentists recommend that you do this. In other words, all the doctors agree. 1, exercise regularly. 2 is a huge one. Sleep. Now, when I say sleep, this is so key. And the key is this, 7-8 hours minimum in a row per night. Some people say, I don't need 4 hours of sleep. I don't need 5 hours of sleep. That may be great that you're waking up at that time. You've got to develop a process to get more rest. And the reason it's so important is how the brain works around memory and retention is it uses consecutive hours of consistent sleep to consolidate and store memories. Consolidate's the key there. It defragments the disk, how it's storing there for easy retrieval. Your brain has it in there if you don't sleep well, but you can't find it. To consolidate and line it up takes straight sleep. If you have sleep apnea, you need to address that. That's really, really harmful. If you don't know what sleep apnea is, look it up. But basically, you're restful. You're never getting into REM sleep. Your partner can tell you if you have it. I have some family members that struggle. They were waking up, 70, 80 times an hour. That's every minute. Disruptive sleep, snoring, waking themselves up, can't breathe. Sounds like the breathing's shutting off. Your brain is not functioning at high power there. And when you're young, you can fake it till you make it. But as you get older, it's cumulative. The negative effects are cumulative. The number 3 thing, diet. And they say Mediterranean type diet. What they're basically saying is lots of plant-based foods. You don't have to be a vegetarian or a vegan. I will never be that. But veggies, fruits, fish, good fats like olive oil, those types of things. Good fats are also avocados. Less red meat and less salt. I don't eat a lot of salt by adding it. If you use foods that have been processed, you got a lot of salt in them. So try to stay away from that. But good veggies, good fruits, less red meat, fish, chicken, concentrate on that. Pork's good for you. And you're less likely to push yourself toward Alzheimer's. You're also less likely to start to have the degradation that naturally happens sooner. In this world, with hyperinflation and everything else going on, people are going to have to work longer. They're going to move Social Security back to 70 in a couple years on the generations that are under 40 years old. It's just going to happen. You got to wrap your mind around, we're going to live now until 92, 93, 95, 98. They say in 20 years, the average life expectancy could be 120. So the government can't fund you for that long. So what you're going to do is you're going to be working until you're 70, 75. Yeah, sorry. Unless we put things in place to start cutting down on the cost of living and do these things and start being smart, play stupid games, win stupid prizes on policies and how expensive things are to live, you're going to have to live longer or work longer and live longer because you live longer. So you better get these attributes started early. Number 4, stay mentally active. Your brain is like a muscle. I said that earlier. So keep the brain in shape. Do brain games, Sudoku, crosswords, things like that. Also, I called my doctor when this family thing came up and said, what can I do? What supplements can I take? And he goes, there's not a lot of proof on supplements. All supplements are doing are bypassing eating a good diet. If you eat veggies, you're getting the things that the supplements have. If you're eating less red meat, you're not having as much cholesterol, which is very bad, which I'll get to in a second. New things are important, he said. So I recently bought an electronic piano, and I'm playing music again. Did that when I was young and loved it. I love music. I've talked about it many times. So I'm playing the piano. Got some Leonard Skinner stuff kind of dialed in, a little Lionel Richie dialed in, some Journey dialed in. It's kind of fun. But it's about learning new things. So you're causing different parts of the brain to interact. This is important as you're younger too. Have hobbies that test your ability to learn. Remember, it's back to the crystallized and the fluid memories. Fluid memories go down over time because you don't want to learn new things. Force new things on you. Read. That's another great one. Remain socially active is number 5. This one really, I think, had a big impact on this family member that's fighting this now. It wards off, being socially active wards off depression and stress. And that person that was just recently diagnosed with some problems here, they were really impacted by COVID. They became hermits, stayed in, very, very scared to do anything, don't have a lot of social interaction anyway, was not really concentrated on any strength training their entire life. Just a lot of things weren't utilized, and they're suddenly here. And studies show that, being, hermitized or in solitary confinement causes brain atrophy. Again, it's a muscle-like item. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you got to concentrate and use this thing. And then number 6, that everybody, and this is where some had 9 and 12, but work on your blood vessel health. And what I mean by this is blood pressure, blood sugars, and cholesterol. Keep them all under control. The only way you can grow to awesome is to work on your intelligence, fluid and crystallized intelligence. Expand your brain, learn new things, take on the day. All of these things help your brain. Be physically fit. That allows you to handle stresses at work. It allows you to have a positive impact from that approach on your brain for long term as well. Because let's face it, we don't go through this spinning planet, this orb around the sun, trying to not be awesome. We try to be awesome. And don't forget, you are awesome. Talk next week.